14-year age group. In fact, our first two heats all consist of swimmers from that age bracket. Oliver Burns of Wolverhampton in lane 3. In lane 4, from Boston, is Rico Brinjman. And in 5, representing Blackpool Aquatics, is Bailey Reid. So just to mark the card as to how this event will work, each of these swimmers in the 7 heats will swim this just the once, and then their time will be compared to those in their same age group to decide who will be our medal winners. Very simple stuff. It won't always be like these first 2 heats where the swimmers are directly competing against one another. We'll have a very much a mixed bag of age groups as the heats go on. As you may have noticed, that this mid-afternoon session starting a bit earlier than originally planned. Of course, is because today is the funeral of Fred Furniss, who passed away recently, and the hearse with Fred inside will pass near to the venue at 2:55 p.m. today to allow all those wanting to pay their respects to do so. So if you are wanting to do that, do make your way outside to the front of Ponds Forge just before 2:55 this afternoon. The hearse will carry one rotation of the roundabout outside Ponds Forge before making its way to the crematorium. So if you'd like to pay your respects to Swim England's National Talent Officer Fred Furniss, who sadly passed away nearly a month ago now, then do make sure you go to the front of the venue here at Ponds Forge just before 2:55 this afternoon. In the pool here we have 3 swimmers whose PBs all managed to have been achieved in May this year. Different venues though, across the Midlands and the north of England, with Oliver Burns in lane 3 getting his PB of 17:49.46 from Nottingham. Just get across Midlands as far as he is concerned, the man from Wolverhampton. A few months ago now, and Rico Brinjman of Boston getting his PB of 17:46.99 here in Sheffield in May. As for Bailey Reid, he got his PB in the Northwest Regionals in Manchester, 17:47.57. Those 3 PBs do stand at their entry times. And of course, the order of the day for all of our swimmers is to knock seconds off the PBs. It is a race that, as hard as it is the one where you can really chip away some significant seconds off your personal best. And it's, of course, very early these young swimmers' careers. First time they'll have swum this on the national stage, and all about making sure that you stick to your own game plan. Of course, not a busy pool this at all. So these 3 probably favouring the fact that they're all pretty close to one another. And again, it's very difficult to tap into the minds of these swimmers. One of them might be trying to pull away, but they're just not being able to at the moment. Or they may be pretty happy with the conservative nature of the way that this one is panning out. You can see the kicks coming predominantly from the feet of Bailey Reid in lane 5. Decent turn there from Oliver Burns, though in lane 3 from Wolverhampton. So you can see pretty different ways of attacking this. Not much leg movement going on in the way of Rico Bridgman of Boston in 4, but it's not really costing him too much time and space. 3 pretty flat-lined at this stage. Each swimmer ensuring that they swim to their own strengths and they're not drawn in by their opponents to adapting and changing their style, particularly at this stage as well. Not too far away now from the halfway point. Of course, in order to make it at these nationals, there's sacrifices from a lot of swimmers and coaches, but the parents have to do that as well. Very early starts, to drop the kids off at training in the morning. And it's really a symbol of success in that respect, that it has all paid off for them to get to Ponds Forge this week and compete against some of their fellow swimmers at their age level, the best that England has to offer. Of course, the sacrifice being made this lunchtime as well, with a shorter lunch. It's all worthwhile. And you see the look on the swimmers' faces and the parents as well when they do tap in for that new PB. They managed to get in the top 10, and some of them, of course, scoring their way into the top 3 as well. It's a good time this time of year to look back at the season so far and reflect on successes and improvements, but also the room for improvement as well. I'll see quite a few coaches over the course of the week with the iPads out, the pens and notepads as well, scribbling down the split times and seeing where time is lost, time can possibly be gained in future races as well. There was a positive discussion between a swimmer and a coach at the end of a race. So they've managed to recover to look at the next time they'll be competing in this event and how they can go even faster. We're past the 10-minute mark now, and still nip and tuck between the 3 of them. Burns and Reid trading first position over the course of the last few hundred metres. It's now Bailey Reid in lane 5 with the upper hand in that respect. Oliver Burns of Wolverhampton does seem to fall a little bit behind when it gets to the end of a length, but then pushes off the wall very successfully as well to get himself back in front of Bridgman in particular. Survival of the fittest, really, between the 3 of them, as the kicks intensify from Bailey Reid of Blackpool. Certainly trusts his ability to the lower part of his body there to give it a bit of a kick. Do make sure your tweets keep coming in as well on the hashtag SE Swimming. Just saying, reports coming from Sheffield that Dan Day has made the 200 free final, while Will Geary is qualified for the 100 fly final, both in 6th place. Good luck for the finals, lads. Hashtag whoosh. Haringey wishing City of St Albans swimmer and Team Haringey alumni Jude good luck in his 1500m freestyle race today. Coming up in heat 5 in lane 4. Hastings say well done Callum Pearson, Ellie Foster and Louis Churon for your great swims today. Good luck Cal and Ellie for your finals tonight. And also a tweet coming in as well from Chris, our man on poolside during the warm-ups. Team bath coach as well. Amazing morning for our team bath swimmers at the English and Welsh Nationals, of course, going off as well here at the English Nationals. 6 races and 6 finals for the Blue and Gold Army. So well done to them. Best of luck for them later on today. Tracy says, Toby Hill, brilliant swim for Prescott this morning, and unexpected final in the 100 fly as well. So do make sure you let us know what is going on with your swimmer at the moment. Lots of good mornings for them, that is for sure. And lots of people looking forward to the afternoon as well. So whether you're watching on the stream, wherever you are around the country or around the world, or in venue, hashtag SE Swimming. Well, it's beginning to get to the crunch time now. In this, into the final 400 metres, and Rico Bridgman of Boston is beginning to peel clear of the 2 swimmers, but really we've been trying to set the pace before him. Bridgman was on the fringes before then, and now he's got ahead of Oliver Burns in 3 and Bailey Reid in 5. Those 2 slogging it out at the moment, but maybe positive for Burns and Reid that they do have someone there to chase, and there is an excuse, if you like, to give a bit more energy in this. Sometimes it's a case of who dares to blink first. Bridgman looking very sturdy with his arms as they go into the water. Clawing his way through. Another successful 100 for him. He is nearing closer and closer to hearing the sound of that bell first. There's the bells there for the officials to ring. It's the swimmer in their lane begins to embark on their final 100 metres. You wonder with the swimmers how much they can actually see of those boards that the referees put down there to signal how many lengths of the pool are remaining. It must be very easy to lose track, but the bell there, just a signal for the final 100. So there is no doubt at all that they are nearing the end of this gruelling stint in the pool, but one that Rico Bridgman is certainly taking on his young shoulders with great responsibility, good maturity as well. Still not really using his legs much, he's saving them for the final 100 or so. 200 metres to go for him. The split time at the moment 15:23.54. There's a difference of 4.34 seconds between him and Oliver Burns in second place. Then not much difference between Burns and Reid for third, 0.39 to be precise, in favour of the Wolverhampton man going in 3, but that one's certainly not over. Bailey Reid still kicking away as well, trying to maintain the intensity we were seeing from him in that respect a couple of 100 metres ago, but of course it's difficult to do it consistently. He certainly will be trying to save something for the final 100 now, but Rico Bridgman just seems to be getting better and better across the water. His arms doing most of the hard work. His lungs doing the hardest of the work. Because he'll feel that lactic building in his arms and the burning in his chest. There's certainly nothing hasty about the way he's attacking the water. No choppiness with the arms. It's very fluid through. As he hears that bell first, and he's got 100 metres to go. His coach encouraging him on the far side there just to keep it up. Certainly has put in a very impressive shift so far. No real change of demeanour from Bridgman. He goes into his final 100. Bailey Reid, meanwhile, just slightly tailing away from Oliver Burns. Burns doing his best to now kick the legs into action. Still the most splash being emitted by Bailey Reid, but no avail in terms of pulling away from Oliver Burns. That's a battle that we've seen right from the start, and it's going to go towards the finish as well. Rico Bridgman of Boston has escaped from that, long escape from that, around 300, 400 metres ago, as he goes into his final 25 now. A reminder that his PB is 17:46.99. That is the aim here. How close will he get to that? Will he even beat it? It's going to be very close. It's a metre a second, really, as he comes in towards the final throws of this one. Touches in 17:44.53. Big well done to Rico Bridgman, who does indeed get a new PB there. Around 1.5 seconds. Oliver Burns touching in second, just outside of his PB, as is Bailey Reid, but the two of them giving it a right good fight, half a second splitting them towards the end of that. So they are the confirmed results of Heat 1. Up next, it's Heat 2.
Go then with heat number 2 of the boys 1500, much fuller complement in the pool for this one. In lane 0 from Prescott, that is Toby Hill. In 1 from Suffolk, from Team Ipswich, Joe Cooper. In lane 2 from the northeast and Middlesbrough, it's James Woods. 3 from Mount Kelly is Timothy Chemerick. 4 from Killer Wales is Noel Jameson-Neal. The young man from Southport in lane 5, that's Henry Moore. James Kay goes for Barnett Copthall in lane 6. Mark Beckenham. In 7, it's Finn Wooten. James Harrington of Hillingdon goes in lane 8. Around about a third of the way through this race here as the swimmers return home, where they will see the cards with 20 on them. And 10 lengths are down. Leading the way at this early stage is Henry Moore from Southport. He's looking to get inside his time. 17:40.51. That's a personal best. Set that in Manchester in May. It's exactly the same personal best, interestingly, with the swimmer in lane number 4, who's Noah Jamieson-Neal. These two both swimming exactly the same personal best. And Noah did his in Aldershot in March. And it'll be interesting here with already a bit of a discrepancy. There's about 4 lengths between them, just to see how they can go. I've seen plenty of personal bests, 4 already at this Swimming England National Summer Meet. We always do. It's a fantastic meet for personal bests, it really is. Lovely to see so many falling. I've been asking you all morning for your tweets of support in #SE Swimming. Lovely one from Orion Swimming Club here. Congratulations to Robin Surgener, 4th in the multi-class 100-metre breaststroke with 480 points. Still going strong at 55. Great inspiration. Here's Robin. Love seeing him at these meets. Gary Watton's got in touch to say Billy and Emily are looking good as they hit the finals in the 100 flight. Emily Gulliver's been in touch as well. Nice little selfie on there, representing 4 nationals. City of Leicester, City of Oxford and Worcester and Haringey, Hastings as well, all congratulating their swimmers. Chris Redpath has been in touch as well. He says the PBs keep falling. Hashtag enabled, not disabled. And he's speaking there about Dominic Redpath from Portsmouth North Sea, the S9 swimmer. A brilliant race in the men's 50-meter freestyle. Do keep getting your messages coming in, ladies and gentlemen. Really do love hearing your messages of support for all of our swimmers here, especially in the 1500. Nearly 2/3 of the way through this race here. Not much particularly has changed in terms of the order, but certainly the gap between the leader and second place is really stretching. Henry Moore here looking very, very good for Southport. Well clear of second place, who's Noah Jameson-Neal, who's just bypassed almost half a length of a pool in front of him. Joe Cooper from Team Ipswich has jumped into second place in Noah's stead. Again, he's a long way back as he reached the 20-lap point. That is a whole kilometre. Henry Moore leads 11:22, 12.5 seconds and a bit of change more. Behind is Joe Cooper. And there's quite the gap. Henry Moore is really going for this. Just over now, 2/3 of the way through. And the onus is really on Moore here to really go after that personal best. He's got the chance to do it. He's set himself up. Can he finish it off? It can be tough swimming out on your own. So 400 metres to go for Henry Moore of Southport as he hunts down that time of 17:40.51. Looks in good shape to do it. Second place will be the man from Team Ipswich, Joe Cooper, turning with 400 to go. He's in lane 1. And then it's Noah Jameson-Neal in 4 with 400 to go from Killer Wales. And then on the far side, lanes 8 and 7 pretty much turning together. James Harrington of Hillingdon and Finn Wooten of Beckenham. And then in lane 2, James Woods from Middlesbrough and Toby Hill in 0 from Prescott. And then it's Timothy Chemerick from Mount Kelly in 8th in lane 3. And James Kay in lane 6 in 9th place. This race now has become all about Henry Moore versus the clock. What can the man from the Northwest produce? Going to turn here with 200 meters to go. Henry Moore in good shape. It's not even hit the 15-minute mark yet. He's got a good chance of going inside his personal best. Very good chance. Question now is how much does he want to go inside it? And the bell tolls for Henry Moore. And so too for Joe Cooper and Noah Jamieson-Neal. Henry Moore then is going to be a long way inside this personal best, a long way. Remember, it was 17:40.51. He's going to be a long way inside it. All in the last 25 then for Henry Moore. Been an absolutely superb swim this from the Southport man. How good is the time? 17:40 was what he came with, and he's leaving with 17:08.87. That is over half a minute off his entry. Superb swim from Henry Moore. Second place in this one will go to Joe Cooper. Another very, very good swim. Take nothing away. 17:22.35. Likewise for Noah Jamieson-Neal there, 17:23.43. Remember, Noah entered in exactly the same time as Henry. It's a huge personal best, that. Both swimmers there can be very, very, very happy with their efforts. Super, super stuff. Joe Cooper came in with 17:43. He's left with 17:22. 20-second difference. Some really, really good swims all across the board there. We're still waiting for one to come in here in lane 6. It's going to be James Kay from Barnet Copsall. Help him in, ladies and gentlemen, as he comes in to complete the race. Results are up on the board. Confirmation of those fantastic times. Well done, boys. It's now time for heat 3. Just before we meet the swimmers in our third heat, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure we're all well aware by this point, Fred Furniss, the legendary coach of British swimming, passed away recently, and his funeral is taking place today. The hearse will pass near to the venue at 2:55 today to allow all those wanting to pay their respects to Fred. Please make your way outside to the front of Ponds Forge just before 2:55 p.m. Hearse will carry one rotation of the roundabout outside Ponds Forge before making its way to the crematorium. So that's a chance for us all to pay tribute to a great man and a great coach in Fred Furniss, who sadly passed away recently. And 200 metres in to our third heat of the men's 1500m freestyle. And we take a look at the swimmers in it. In lane 0 from Doncaster Darts is Ben Wright. Bailey Ward is in lane 1, he's from Nova Centurion. In 2 from St Felix School is Owen Webster. In 3 from Romford Town is Daniel Genkas. He's been busy this morning. In 4 from Leatherhead is Henry Melrose. Ethan Wright goes for Winsford in lane 5. In 6 is Linus Launhart from Mount Kelly. In 7, Benjamin Makin from Pioneer 79. In lane 8, that's Jack Haynes from Wolverhampton. And in 9 is William Baines from the borough of Stockton. It's been a fairly even start, especially among the leaders of this one. It's 5 swimmers who make up our leading pack. They're headed up by Owen Webster from St Felix School. He's in lane 2, and pretty much diagonal line back from him. In lane 3, Daniel Genkas from Romford Town. 4, Henry Melrose. Just nudging in front of him is Ethan Wright in lane 5, and then Linus Launhart from Mount Kelly isn't too far back. The leading quintuplet. After our first 400 metres. Now, the times for these guys in this race have dropped pretty considerably from the ones in the last. The entry times in Heat 2 were largely around the 17:40, 17:50 mark. This time, there are a couple of those swimmers in the outside lanes in particular with those sorts of entry times, but the majority of the swimmers in the middle are around about 17:16, 17:18. So potentially looking at dipping below the 17-minute barrier. That is a lot, excuse me, that is a lot of pressure. One that I won't exert on the swimmers. But if we were to have similar drops as we saw in Heat 2, 16 point something is potentially on the cards for them. That'll be the motivation. Swimmers take huge stock in milestones such as that. they spend a lot of time working up to. And here in Sheffield, at the national meet, this is where they're going to target them. The orange cap of Winsford being waved on there by his coach, Ethan Wright, is going on pretty nicely. Over a third of the way through, and it's Ethan who leads the way. Stopwatches being anxiously checked around the pool side. The phrase, it's a marathon, not a sprint, really does apply to this race. But having said that, it's about the consistency of the 50-metre splits. That's what the coaches will be looking for. Swimmers will have slightly less awareness of it. But all the hours in training will have prepped them and will have guided them. Most of the swimmers in this race are a little bit older than the ones in the race before. Quite a few who are 16 this year. Ethan Wright, our leader, is one of them. His personal best, 17:17.34. Set that in Manchester in April. Filling in second there. In lane 3 is Daniel Genkas. I mentioned he's been very busy. Doesn't just swim the long distance events. He set 17:17.40 in London in April. Romford Town swimmer, part of Swim England Essex region. Owen Webster's going on pretty nicely as well. He's currently in third place. He entered in a time of 17:19, but he does have a personal best that's a little bit lower. He set that last year in this meet, in this pool, 17:14.65. So it's a perfect example where we're going to look at exactly how much Owen Webster's improved over the last 365 or so days. Direct comparison available straight away for us there. That's the current 1, 2, 3. In lane 4, Henry Melrose has a little bit of work to do to maybe catch up with the leaders in this one. His PB is the quickest out of all of them. Of the one set this year at any rate. And from Leatherhead, set 17:16.58 in Wickham in May. What can he produce here in Sheffield? A couple of months later. Heading up towards the kilometre mark then. Ethan's still getting waved on. No rest. It's time to push. for the young man from Winsford. He's just breathing to his right, and he'll be aware of the presence of Daniel Genkas. Daniel himself is breathing to his left. They'll be aware of each other, those two. Won't be the first priority. Ethan and Daniel are indeed in separate age categories. So in theory, they don't really need to worry about each other in terms of their medals. It might just allow them to push each other on. .400 meters to go. It's right from Genkas, from Webster, from Melrose, and then a bit of a gap to the rest of the field. In fifth place in lane 6 is Linus Launhardt from Mount Kelly. Alongside him, Benjamin Macon in 7. Bailey Ward in 1. William Baines going nicely in 9. Ben Wright from Doncaster Darts. He is at the back of the field. Worth mentioning as well that William Baines over on the far side in lane 9, who's with the second tier of this race, is the youngest man in it. Say man, he's 13 this year. Creep towards the finish. Can just start to figure out roughly where these swimmers are going to end up time-wise. They've been so consistent. Ethan Wright, remember. His personal best, 17:17.34. Set that in qualifying for this event. Splits are pretty good. He's going on about 33, 34 seconds for his splits. And he's on time to drop below 17 minutes. He's worked really hard to get into this position. And his coach on the far side will not let him drop the level just yet, urging him on. Has to keep going. So often in a 1500, the good work of so many lengths can be undone by a couple of bad ones. Ethan Wright will be trying desperately not to have that happen to him. He's 100 meters away from the finish. There goes the bell for Wright and for Genkas. Both entered in really, really similar entry times. Their personal bests, split by just 0.06 of a second. They're split by a little bit more here, but not by an awful lot more. Genkas is finishing really strongly. And he's definitely eating up some ground on right. Genkas, who's the year group below right, is really going to set a marker for that 15-year group. A few of them still to come, of course. But Ethan Wright is going to drop inside the 17-metre mark. He came in with 17.34. He's going to leave with 16.49.37. Himself and Daniel Genkas, for the first time ever, are underneath 17 minutes. Huge milestone. Big congratulations to the pair of them. They worked very, very hard for that. Touching in third is Owen Webster, 17.10 for him. 4 seconds off his personal best as well. PB is a PB. No one will ever be unhappy totally with a personal best. So we've got a couple of our swimmers to come in. And fourth place was Henry Melrose, 17.15.04 for Henry. Just inside his personal best there as well. Benjamin Macon was in fifth, 17.27.19, and then it was William Baines over on the far side, the youngster from the borough of Stockton, youngest man in this race, and he was miles inside his personal best as well. Big congratulations to William. Seventh was Linus Lownhart, eighth Bailey Wright in lane 1, and Bailey Ward I should say, and then Ben Wright in lane 0 was ninth. And coming in to complete the race in lane 8 is Jack Haynes from Wolverhampton, 18.17.81. Those are the confirmed results. Congratulations to all of our swimmers. We move on to heat number 4. just ahead of meeting the swimmers for this heat number 4 in the men's 1500 freestyle. We please have Noah Jamieson-Neal, Joe Cooper and Henry Moore to the timing suite, please. That's Noah Jamieson-Neal, Joe Cooper and Henry Moore to the timing suite, please. Thank you. We will be having your medal ceremony very shortly, gentlemen, so please do make your way there promptly. Noah Jamieson-Neal, Joe Cooper and Henry Moore to the timing suite, please. Your medal ceremony will be up very shortly.
So in the heat number 4, line 0 from Atlantis is Oliver Etheridge. In 1 from Wantage is Freddie James. In 2 from Millfield, Alexander Sargent. In 3 from Mount Kelly, James Bartley. 4 from City of Derby, Isaac van Vintel. 5 from Truro City is Thomas Treblecock. And 6 from City of Manchester Aquatics, Ben Smith. And 7 from Northampton, Jack Gartside. And 8 from Exeter City, Joseph Day. And 9 from City of Oxford, Max Underwood. So 3 heats already down, 4 to go, including this one. So after that 7th heat, we will have our winners in the 5 different age categories. Will any of these be up there? Some terrific noise already in the early stages of this. 5.5 minutes gone. From spectators on the far side and coaches as well on pool deck. I'll be impressed if they can keep that up for the remaining 10 minutes or so. Isaac van Vintel at City of Derby. Can we please have Henry Moore from Southport to go to the timing suite immediately, please. That's Henry Moore from Southport to the timing suite immediately, thank you. And it will be for a medal presentation. So if you could go to the time suite as soon as possible, that would be very much appreciated. So just looking back at the pool here, just about to touch on Isaac von Fintel a few months ago for City of Derby. He is, of course, the fastest on paper out of the swimmers in this heat. An entry of 17:07.76. He can go quicker, as he demonstrated here in Sheffield in April of last year. And he got his PB time of 16:47.01. Also some decent PBs in there as well. For the likes of Thomas Trevelcock of Truro, 17:09.22. He got earlier this year in May. So, at the moment we're looking at lane 2. Alexander Sargent of Millfield putting a decent shift. His PB earlier this year as well in March, 17:11.83. Just a bit of a reminder as well about the parents' talk that will be taking place tomorrow, 12:30 until 1:30 in the Skyline Suite here at Ponds Forge. It's for parents and guardians of swimmers who are currently aged 13 to 14 years of age, regarding the talent pathway, which will be delivered within the 2018 to 2021 cycle. Places are limited and will be offered on a first-come, first-served basis. Do make sure you attend it. If you have interest or any questions, ask a member of the Swim England team. There are quite a lot of them. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure will be understanding in the fact that we will be doing medal presentations for the younger age categories, which have already been sorted and won in the younger age group, such as the 13-14 years old. Those medal presentations will be taking place during the heats of the remaining ones, so the first of which will be coming up very shortly, of course, due to the tight turnaround between the end of this mid-afternoon session and, of course, the funeral taking place this afternoon as well for Fred Furniss. So very shortly we will have a medal presentation for that. But of course we will be able to resume at the end of that medal presentation with the concluding stages of this heat, which at the moment, leading the way, we have Alexander Sargent of Millfield in lane 2.
And we will have our medal ceremony here, ladies and gentlemen, for the 13-14 years, boys, 1500 metres. The medals will be presented by Swim England President Richard Whitehead, accompanied by his wife Susan Whitehead. The winner of the bronze medal, representing Killer Whales, Noah Jameson-Neal. The winner of the silver medal, representing Team Ipswich, Joe Cooper. And the winner of the Swim England National Summer Meet 2018 gold medal, representing Southport, Henry Moore. ladies and gentlemen. Let's hear it one more time for our medal winners in the 13-14 year category in the men's 1500 meters freestyle. Congratulations, gentlemen, some superb swims there in particular. And Jonathan will pick it back up in the race here. We're underway with heat number 4, getting towards the business end of this one.
Absolutely not long left to go at all here. It's more or less as you were at the front with Alexander Sargent of Millfield in lane 2. Still that tight battle in the middle of the pool. Isaac von Fintel of City of Derby just a body length behind at the moment of Thomas Travelcock of Truro City. But those two are in different age categories, so they're not directly competing for the same medal, but even then you do want to be winning your heat, or at least getting as far forward as possible, because there is more people behind you that way. Quite simple how it works. Lane 8, Joseph Day of Exeter City, currently second overall, just ahead of Travelcock in lane 5. Rest of the pool quite a bit behind and doing their best to claw back into the bout at the front. Yeah, there are 3 or 4 interested parties still, with Sargent leading. Now Travelcock second, Day third, Van Vintel just behind him fourth. .200 metres to go, then really coming to the business end of this one. It's the only swim these swimmers will have in this race. Coaches and parents and family on the far side have been with these all the way through this, shouting at every length. Not long left to go now. One last big push. Coming into his final 150 metres. In first, Alexander Sargent of Millfield. The Sargent in charge, but Joseph Day is narrowing the gap between first and second, it seems, with every length. However, still around 3.5 seconds the gap between first and second. Also up there as well, lane 5, Thomas Travelcock seems to be velcroing himself from Isaac von Fintel of City of Derby. Those two have been together for an awful lot of this race, but not for much longer. But as I say, those two in different categories. Isaac von Fintel more concerned about the 17-year-old swimmers in his age group. And out of those, it's only Joseph Day ahead of him, so it's not been a bad swim at all for Isaac von Fintel, but he's still got 100 metres to go. Chase on at the front then. Very spread out in terms of the layout of the lanes here, but in terms of their actual standings, Sargent just in front of Day, who still leads ahead of Travelcock. Sargent turning now with a bit more of a margin. He's done well. 4 seconds he leads by into the final 50 metres, and it's just one last push for Sargent, who should be pleased with this swim, coming into this with a PB of 17:11.83, and that's going to be knocked for 6 out of Sheffield and almost out of South Yorkshire. Really good swim there from Alexander Sargent, then touching in 16:48.46. That'll be a big sigh of relief. Coming in next then, Joseph Day on 16:52.87. That's a PB for him as well. And then in comes Thomas Travelcock of Truro, 16:53.72, another PB there in the pool. Isaac von Fintel outside of his, maybe a bit frustrated with that, just over 17 minutes, 17:0.33, but nevertheless it could put him in good stead for his age category. Of course, we have to find out that with the rest of the heat still to come, still 3 of them. And up next we go on to heat number 5. we go through the heat. Said people coming in to Ponds Forge all the time and others exiting. Just for those who have joined us recently, a reminder once again, and of course today is the funeral of Fred Furniss, who was the Swimming National Talent Officer. Of course, recently passed away, and the hearse will pass near to the venue here at Ponds Forge at 2:55, so around an hour's time. And to those who are wanting to pay respects to Fred, do make your way outside to the front of Ponds Forge just before 2:55 for that. The hearse will carry one rotation of the roundabout just outside Ponds Forge before making its way to the crematorium. So do please feel free to pay your respects to Fred Furniss at 2:55 p.m. today. Contenders then in Heat 5 are as follows, with Harry Spencer of Killer Whales in 0. Lane 1 from Leek, Callum Russian. And 2 from Wickham District, Thomas Sansom. Lane 3 from Stockport Metro, Benjamin Foster. Lane 4 from City of St Albans, Jude Lydiard. In 5, representing City of Oxford, George Rudd. In 6, from Witham, here's Joshua Fowles. Ellis Stanhope represents Sevenoaks in lane number 7. In 8, from Stockport Metro, Joel Donald. And in 9, from City of Norwich, it's Nathan Woodrow. Hashtag SE Swimming. Obviously, you're still getting involved, which is very good to see, whether you're watching on the live stream at home or maybe even at work. If you're on your mobile, your tablet, or maybe plugging it up to the television, depending on where you are. Very good of you to join us, as ever. And those as well in Ponds Forge, sacrifice on the lunch break to stick around and watch some of the swimming. Everyone at some point will have a swimmer of their interest taking part in the pool, and it certainly is a very nervy 15 minutes or so watching on with the 1500s. Keynsham Swim Club been in touch, wishing their junior girls captain Jessica Lawton, 12 years category, a fantastic swim in the 12 to 13-year-old 100 fly final this afternoon. It's a hashtag Go Jessica, hashtag role model from all at Keynsham. That's a good treat from them. We have a recap from City of Leicester of their form earlier today in the 100 fly. Millie Scotch with a strong swim, but just missing out in the final by finishing 12th. And it's her last swim as well with City of Leicester as she moves on to university. They say it won't be the same without her on poolside, but we look forward to seeing her at meets next season. Hashtag sharp, sharp. From City of Leicester there. Lewis Smith saying another great day from Owen Woodrow, City of Norwich, a cracking swim in the 200 IM. And the 53 as well, of course, his namesake Nathan, on the same club in lane 9 right now of this race. Anya says hard work pays off. Jay Manners, I'm so proud of you. With the medal emoji as well, which is always a good sign. Quencher getting in touch. Strong heats from Casper in the 200 free and Charlotte in the 50 free this morning. Quality racing from them. Looking forward to finishing the meet in style. Hashtag fast swimming. Last couple for now. Amanda says good luck to William Baines, Borough of Stockton, in the 1500. And Croydon saying well done, Ava, for your great swim today. Fantastic in 11th place in the 12-13 year group in the 200 breaststroke. Do make sure those tweets keep coming in. Hashtag SE Swimming. Keep myself and Steve with a bit of company over the course of the 1500m freestyle. Can get lonely, and certainly can get lonely in the pool as well, whether you be out at the front trying to be the pace setter and you find yourself struggling towards the back, especially if from one of the outer lanes and swimmers near you are leaving the scene and wanting to go out in front. Harry Spencer certainly trying to take the rest of the pool to task in lane 0 here from Killer Whales. Got Callum Russian of Leak in lane 1. Going to maintain the gap alongside him. It's a gap at the moment that reads 2.5 seconds. Joel Donald of Stockport Metro in lane 8 is in 3rd, and you can see not too far away in 6, Joshua Fowles of Witham. 3.5 seconds between Fowles in 4th, and then Benjamin Foster in lane 3, who's at the moment leading the rest of the pool. But of course that can all interchange. There's a lot of time in this one. We've only just gone over the 7-minute mark. So we've got roughly just under 10 minutes to go. Lydia with the quickest of the entry times in this in lane 4. St Albans man with 17:0.1. That was attained in London earlier this year in March. Harry Spencer, meanwhile, in lane 0 can go quicker than his entry suggests. Quite deceptive of him to post 17:06.93. Because last year in November he went to the capital and managed to bag 16:57.12, so good chance here that he'll be able to break the 17-minute barrier. And that's the zone this heat. Could be for most of them the first time they've ever done that. And of course we'll weigh their times up here with the PBs as and when confirmation of their times actually comes through. So still quite a bit to go in that respect. It's Harry Spencer in lane 0, really on the march. Gap between him and Joel Donald in 2nd place. Now 3:04, and Fowles tucked behind Joel Donald, just 14 hundredths of a second between Joel Donald in 8, Joshua Fowles in 6, and that's going to go an awful long way, you would suspect. Lots of different age groups, of course, milling around in the pool here, and this is a real opportunity for our 2 15-year-old swimmers in the pool to win a medal, because they are the last 2 taking part in that age bracket. Thomas Sansom in lane 2, Nathan Woodrow in lane 9, really going about their own little race. Sansom in front at the moment. There's a couple in City of Norwich colours on that far side, just guiding Nathan Woodrow along every time he passes them. Need a big encouragement to get in front of Sansom here. And of course it's not just as simple as who wins out of Sansom and Woodrow gets the gold. It is about their times as well compared to the previous 15-year-old swimmers we have seen. Also just the one swimmer, in fact no swimmers to come after the 16-year-old category after this heat. There's 4 involved in that. Callum Russian in 1, Benjamin Foster in 3, George Rudd in 5, and Stanhope in 7, and in fact Joel Donald as well in 8. So 5 16-year-old swimmers, and 3 of them with a real chance here of securing a medal right here, right now in this 5th heat. Don't think he would have been weighing too heavy on their minds going into this race. It is really just about swimming it for yourself and seeing how well you've done compared to your previous best. If you win a medal, that is a bonus. It's very easy to look at all the ramifications of these swims and or examining them as to how people have done previously in the heats. Sometimes it's just good to look at this as quite simply a race between 10 swimmers, regardless of how old they are, and just try and win it. Harry Spencer has been leading it for most of the race, but it's a gap that's beginning to squeeze, and Joel Donald in 8th, he's been there all along. Usual suspects as well, Joshua Fowles in lane 6, but Benjamin Foster of Stockport Metro's advancing further and further, and he's one of those 16-year-olds I was talking about, with a possible opportunity alongside Joel Donald in lane 8, getting an accolade in the 16-year-old category. And watch out for lanes 3 and 8, because if they're this close together in around 6 lengths time, we've got a thrilling finale on our hands. Big gaps as well between our leaders and those behind them, which is very much to the contrary to their entry times that they've posted. It shows they're only human. Some people drastically improve their performance on the national stage. Some just can't quite manage the performance that they got in the regionals to promote themselves to this level. It is a very big step, and one that cannot be overlooked at all. 7.5 seconds on paper between our fastest seeded swimmer in this and the slowest, but it's going to be a lot more significant than that in this race. Now, lane 3, movement's been made by Benjamin Foster of Stockport Metro. The last 100 metres, beginning to see things click into place for him. This swim from Foster, laying out a marker to those in lanes 1, 5, 7 and 8 in his age group. Foster coming into this with 17:03.99 next to his name as his entry. Now promoting himself into second is Joshua Fowles of Witham. He's in the 18 years and over category. The only one in this heat actually who's in that age group, and there's quite a few to come after him. And also the likes of Harry Spencer in 0 and Jude Lydiard in 4. They've got quite a few 17-year-old swimmers as well coming up in the remaining 2 heats, so they've just got to give it their all and see what the response is from their rivals to come. As I say, the 15-year and the 16-year categories will be done and dusted following this heat. And it is Benjamin Foster who is ensuring that his name will be on the podium on one of the 3 steps. Will it be the central one? It is looking more and more likely with each and every stroke, as he's leaving behind Joel Donald here, who had been at the front all the way through. He's still in the top 3 now overall. Harry Spencer still trying to keep things alive, but the bell now sounding for Benjamin Foster. Foster leading by a sizable margin over Joshua Fowles of Witham. And of course, the real battle here is between Foster and his teammate Joel Donald in the 16-year age group. We're also will be keeping an eye on Callum Rushen in 1, George Rudd in 5, and Ellis Stanhope in lane 7. Out of our two 15-year-old swimmers, there's still Thomas Sansom, who's enjoying the better time of it than Nathan Woodrow. There's around 11.5 seconds between the two, so you would imagine that Sansom has sealed that. In fact, it's a lot more than that, in fact, going Woodrow's previous split time. But anyway, right at the front, Benjamin Foster, Stockport Metro. It's never easy, but he can ease up towards the end. 16:47.3, goodness me. Big, well done to Benjamin Foster of Stockport Metro with that swim. He must be absolutely delighted with that. Joshua Fowles next in. Joel Donald does indeed get second out of the 16-year-old swimmers in the pool. And then the rest of them coming home now in quick succession. Harry Spencer, 4th overall. He was up towards the front all the way through. Lydia tried to make a late push there that saw him 5 seconds off of 4th. And ultimately in 5th. But of course, we'll have a lot of time now after that heat to break down exactly what it means for each of the age groups. As I say, we'll still have a couple remaining after this. The 17-year category and also the 18 years and over category as well. There are 2 heats to go to determine who will be winning both of those age groups. But this heat sees the end now of the competition in the 15-year category and also the 16 years as well. So all those swimmers doing all they can do to see where they ultimately can finish. So Nathan Woodrow coming in now. He is in the youngest category in this heat. A really hard race for all 10 swimmers as he touches in to the wall. And once again, a big well done to them in heat number 5. Some tough and courageous displays. Foster from Fowles from Donald is your top 3 as we now go on to heat 6.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, heat number 6 of men's 1500 free. Full complement in the pool once again. This time we've got Piers Bowden from Wickham District in lane 0. He's been pretty busy this morning, already shown a couple of races. And in lane 1 from Davencio Excel is Ryan Haddart. And 2 from Nova Centurion is Michael McLennan. And 3 is Thomas Menlove from Winchester. Got that? Apologies for a bit of interference on the microphone. So Thomas Menlove in lane 3 from Winchester. In 4 from City of Peterborough is Harry Whiteman. In 5 from Nova Centurion is Joshua Harris. In 6 is Benjamin Prosser from Wickham District. 7 is Luke Bryan from West Norfolk. 8 is Patrick Meggett from the City of Hereford. And 9 is Felix Gallagher from Strat Sharks. That's been a strong start in this one. Third of the way through now. And the strong start has been made in lane 4. That is Harry Whiteman from the City of Peterborough. He's been in pretty good form over the last couple of days as well. So most of the Cops lot. His PB is set at 16:31.32. His entry time was 16:44 this year, which suggests that he's looking to go somewhere around the 16 or the low 16 mark at this Nationals. His PB was set here last year in August, so again a chance to directly contrast his two times. 44 was more than enough for him to qualify. Now though, it's time for him to set his standard here at the National Summer Meet. Can we please have our medal winners down to the medal presentation area, please? Gathered by the timing suite. It's Thomas Sansom, Ethan Wright, Thomas Treblecoat, Alexander Sargent, Daniel Genkas, and Benjamin Foster. If you can make your way to the timing suite, please, quick as you can, and we will be doing your medal ceremonies very, very shortly. Let's Go Harry is a shout from the sidelines from the Peterborough bench. It's he who leads by quite a distance, 8 seconds or so, and a bit of change over second place. Second place did belong to Joshua Harris in lane 5, it still does. I'm not sure for how much longer for the Nervous Centurion swimmer. He's got Thomas Menlove not too far behind him. Benjamin Prosser also in the conversation. Approaching the kilometre mark then. Can any of these guys stop Harry Whiteman? Benjamin Prosser is in his age category, so too is Luke Bryan. Joshua Harris and Thomas Menlove are in the year below, so they shouldn't be too concerned with being as far behind as they are, but of course the 17 and 18-year-olds do have their ceremony together, so they will be trying to get as close as they can to Harry Whiteman. Kilometre hit then for the leader, Harry Whiteman, who has been very good so far, 10:57.09, so sub 11 minutes for the 1K. He's on for a good time here, is Harry Whiteman, but he does have to keep up the work. 16.31, remember, is what he's after. Or rather, quite a bit below that if he can. It's tough for him racing out there on his own. He's not got too much competition to spur him on. At least none that he can see. It's a good 5 or 6 body lengths between himself and second and third. It's very smooth from Whiteman. Very consistent stroke, right, left, breathe, right, left, breathe. Almost metronomic in his timing and his stroke, which of course will please his coaches. That's what they'll work on. Lots still getting in touch with us on Twitter. St Felix and Daventure Excel congratulating their swimmers in this morning's races. And we're still looking for Thomas Treblecoat from Truro City and Daniel Genkas from Romford Town. 2 medals, please. So Daniel Genkas from Romford Town to the medal presentation area, please. We'll be doing your ceremony very shortly. We'd love for you to join us. $200 meters to go then. Slightly less to Harry Whiteman. City of Peterborough furiously waving him on from this near side. Needs to keep up the pace. Now is not the time to slow. Had to do a lot of this by himself, all his own work. 16:31 is his time to beat. And a lot of our swimmers, in fact all of our swimmers in the next heat, will be watching on as Harry Whiteman will set the standard. He takes the bell, 100 meters to go then. What sort of time can we see from Harry Whiteman? He's looking to be inside 16:31. He's got to go. Getting waved on from the near side. The noise ratchets up a little inside Pont as well. It's on for him. The turn is at 15:56.55. Big finish now for Whiteman. The last reserves of energy are being dipped into. He goes to the well one more time into the final 20 meters. Everything he's got now into the 10. He wants to be inside 16:31. He is going to be. Great swim, 16:27.91 for Harry Whiteman, who beats his personal best from a year ago. Coming in second place, Benjamin Prosser, who finished very strongly there in lane 6, 16:39.45. Joshua Harris third, 16:42.26. Thomas Menlove coming in fourth, 16:45.89. Good swim that from Benjamin Prosser. Just outside of his personal best from June. Likewise Joshua Harris as well. And in fifth there was Ryan Huddart from Daventure Excel. Sixth Piers Bowden. Seventh Michael McLennan. Eighth Patrick Maggot. Ninth Luke Bryan. And coming in on the far side to complete the race from Strat Sharks will be Felix Gallagher in lane 9. There we go then, all of our swimmers are in. We'll just wait for the confirmed results on the board. There they are, Whiteman, Prosser and Harris, as we move on to our final heat. This is heat number 7.
Away we go with the final heat. And in the pool for this, lane 0 from City of Leeds is Jacob Butterfield. Lane 1 from Wigan Best, James Cross. Lane 2 from Wirral Metro, Elliot Pickford. Lane 3 is empty. In 4 from Stockport Metro is Alex Crossland Robbins. 5 from City of St Albans, Ralph Munster. In 6 from Tewkesbury is Adam Hall. In 7 representing West Suffolk is Miles Turner. In 8 from Borough of Kirklees, Adam Law. And in 9 from Nova Centurion, Rhys Taylor. Once again, of course, a tight turnaround in this mid-afternoon session, so we will have a medal presentation taking place during this heat. That'll be concerning the 15 years and 16 years category. I believe most, if not all, of the medalists for those 2 age groups have made their way to the timing suite. If they haven't already, please do so as soon as possible. Of course, matters still to be resolved in our eldest 2 age groups, the 17 years and the 18 years and over. There are 6 in the latter. Jacob Butterfield in 0, James Cross in 1, Elliot Pickford in 2, very close together indeed in terms of their lanes spanning the pool. Lane 4 as well, Alex Crossland Robbins is in the 18 years and over. He's joined by Miles Turner in 7, Rhys Taylor in 9, and the 3 remaining swimmers in 5, 6 and 8 are battling out in the 17-year category.
And as Jonathan mentioned, we will be having our medal ceremony, which is now for the men's 15 and 16 years, 1500 meters freestyle. Please welcome the athletes to the podium. Presenting the medals, Swim England Regional President for the West Midlands, David Corbett. Winners of the bronze medals. In the 15 years category, representing Wickham District, Thomas Sanson. In the 16 years category, representing Winsford, Ethan Wright. The winners of the silver medals. In the 15 years category, representing Truro City, Thomas Trebleco. And in the 16 years category, representing Millfield, Alexander Sargent. The winners of the Swim England National Summer Meet 2018 gold medals. In the 15 years category, representing Romford Town, Daniel Genkas. And in the 16 years category, representing Stockport Metro, Benjamin Foster. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it one more time. These are your 15 and 16 year 1500 meter freestyle medal winners. As we divert our eyes away from the podium and back towards the pool, it looks like we've got a real race developing here in our final heat, and here to guide you through the rest of the action for this final heat. Jonathan, what a race we've got in prospect here in the first 6 minutes or so.
Yeah, absolutely, of course. Two different sets of ages in the pool, but they're all united in the fact they're in the 17/18 year category. So very much one big race this. 19 years and over. Already decided. Which those medal presentations alongside the ones for the 17/18 year category will be had after this. Now we saw a real good pace set by Harry Whiteman in the previous heat, who will definitely be licking his lips at the prospect of being on the podium. One or two swimmers who are capable of that sort of time themselves, but they're really going to have to make sure that they get their gear in order to replicate, if not better, that time from Harry Whiteman in heat 6. It was electric stuff from him. Real good show of stamina. Sometimes you just catch the last 100 or 200 metres of a race like this and you refuse to believe that they swam 1,300 metres or so before it, such as the levels of energy reserved for the end. Quite sure where they get it from. So some very tense faces on the far side in the spectator area. Getting these swimmers to where they need to be. Ultimately, it's all down to the swimmers to get the quick times in this, but parents certainly feeling a little bit more comfortable, quashing the nerves a wee bit by swinging their arms around and urging sons, brothers, friends on in this pursuit of a podium spot, which is a very realistic aim for those towards the front in this heat. There's still a lot on offer. There's 3 places waiting for 3 of these swimmers potentially. And only have they got to beat most of the pool in this race, but also the time set in the preceding ones as well. So you could say that the swimmers in this have a bit of a benefit, knowing what sort of time they've got to get to. But then again, the pressure is on them as well, because they've seen those times and they've seen how good they were. Interesting when you look down the middle lanes here, the 2 different approaches. Ralph Muntzer of City of St Albans just letting his feet at the moment go in cruise control, whereas Alex Crosland-Robbins in lane 4 is making them do a bit of work. There's a bit of a splash kicking up there as well. It's hardly a tornado. We'll save that for the final 100 metres, no doubt. It sees him have a marginal advantage over Ralph Muntzer. And just keeping up the pace with them almost is Adam Hall in lane 6 of Tewkesbury. So just for the interest of those that are wanting to go to the funeral of Fred Furniss, who I know a lot of people here in Ponsforge will have known very fondly indeed. And the coach to go to the funeral will be leaving Ponsforge at 2:50. From the front of Ponsforge, and then at 2:55, that is when the hearse will pass. So of course this mid-afternoon session has been arranged so that those wanting to pay their respects, whether by going on the coach to the funeral or just to pay their respects as the hearse goes past at 2:55 can do so in good time. So please do feel free to do so. And there will be good time between the end of this race and the departure of the coach, and also the arrival of the hearse as well. We also will be paying our tributes ourselves to Fred ahead of the evening session tonight, which is of the later time of 5:30, the warm-up of which is at 4:30. So just in case you weren't already aware, we are starting a little bit later this evening for obvious reasons. A 4:30 start with the warm-up, but 5:30 the main event with the final session. .23 seconds is all that splits Alex Crossland-Robbins of Stockport Metro and Ralph Munzer of City of St Albans. It's a really good battle. Munzer letting his upper body do the hard work. Crossland-Robbins spreading it out a bit more with some splashes with the feed, and it's slowed the rate of movement with the arms as well. Got Adam Hall in lane 6 of Tewkesbury, still just lingering behind the front two, waiting for a chance to burst. Lane 9 as well, Rhys Taylor of Nova Centurion. He's just minding his own business really on that far side. No one swimming alongside him in the 1 or 2 lanes next to him, so it's a bit of an individual battle in that respect. Rhys Taylor's PB reading better than his entry. It was a time he got last November in Nottingham, 16:34.06. And it does compare pretty well with some of the front runners in this as well. It's a PB that's quicker than Ralph Munzer's, but Munzer got that PB earlier on this year in Luton. And Alex Crossland-Robbins as well, 16:29.55. It's a very impressive PB. If he can swim like that, he really will be in the thick of the action in terms of the podium. So still a dead heat down the middle of the pool, and the race that engaging really between that battle between the front four, who are in 2 lots of 2. It's almost beginning to lose track of exactly where we are in this, but we are now inside the final 250 metres, and you might as well scrap the preceding 1250, because there is still nothing between Munzer and Crossland-Robbins at the front. Tewkesbury's Adam Hall in lane 6, still ticking along at more or less the same rate as Rhys Taylor in lane 9. Also going unnoticed in lane 0, Jacob Butterfield of City of Leeds, but those from West Yorkshire certainly will have identified his progress as this race has continued, and maybe there's a late shot of him moving up towards the front as well. But we've got medals on offer here, and all these swimmers, which is very rare indeed in a heat declared winner format, are in the same category. This is a straight battle for podium spots, and still Munzer conserving a bit of energy, it seems, not kicking yet, while Alex Crossland-Robbins trusts the way that he's attacked this race, and he'll go into the final 150, still the leader. But if you look on the naked eye, you wouldn't believe it, because it is so tight between the two of them. 0.47 seconds the difference, with Crossland-Robbins in front of Munzer. Munzer will have to kick fire into action in order to turn this around, but it's not an awful lot of movement required. It'll just be who's the quickest over 100 metres now, who's got the most left in the petrol tank. Here we go then, into the final 100 between our front two here, with a possible gold medal on offer. Of course, we have to wait and confirm that at the end and compare with the other times that we've seen so far as well this afternoon, but certainly a place on the podium at stake, which one of them may miss out on here. furiously swinging their arms on the far side of the coaches of Stockport Metro and City of St Albans. Ralph Munster still not kicking yet, but using the arms to claw his way, it looks like, in front of Alex Crossland-Robbins. How much has he got left to give? He's certainly used a lot of energy himself over the preceding 1450. But in they come, down the home straight, if you like now. Munster in 5, Crossland-Robbins in 4. They've been stuck together like glue all the way through this race, but surely something has got to give. We've got the battle going on behind them as well, still between Adam Hall in 6 and Rhys Taylor in 9. We'll revisit that one as it plays out, but up the front has Munster got an advantage here right at the last. What a thrilling finish this is, and Munster has done it. And in 3rd spot, Adam Hall of Tewkesbury. Well, physical strength is one thing, but the mental strength there to keep up alongside each other and push all the way to the wall is quite extraordinary. And we'll wait and see if it is enough for Ralph Munster here to get top spot. You'd certainly fancy him to get on the podium. Alex Crossland-Robbins so close as well, 0.11 behind. And Adam Hall of Tewkesbury, 16:31.13, has done all he can do as well. So as we get confirmation of those, Munster gets a PB, as does Alex Crossland-Robbins. Adam Hall putting in a very impressive shift, also manages a lifetime best. Some really good swims there. Your top 3 confirmed, and that rounds off the mid-afternoon session.